Risa, risa.
Good morning. Namaste. I am Swami Ashwati Tirunal, the head of Egalabya Yoga Ashram and the Acharya of Dravida Yoga School. In this speech, I will give you an introduction to yoga, especially an introduction to Dravida Yoga. What's the history of yoga? Why should you study yoga? And what's yoga now? We will go through all these aspects. Thousands and thousands of years back, India was the land of the Dravidians. In most of the North India, the Dravidians lived in their own lifestyle of peace. We get all these evidences from the archaeological work that was done in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, two ancient cities in India. Later, the Aryans invaded India, and the Aryans later mixed with the Dravidians. But some Dravidians, they were not able to cope up with the Aryan type of life. So they crossed to South India. Now, South India is supposed to be the base of Dravidian culture, and North India, the Aryan culture. Then what happened is this: the knowledge of yoga that these Dravidians had mixed with the Vedic knowledge of the Aryans. The present yoga system is a mixture of Aryan and Dravidian culture. Well, one saint, his name is Saint, he was a great saint, he was a Rishi, he was called Agastya. He crossed to South India, crossing the Vindhya mountains. A lot of disciples came with him, and he started teaching yoga, Ayurveda, martial art, etc. to the people here. Well, yoga was first introduced as Patham, not yoga. It was first called Shiva Patham or Sadhupadam. Shiva Patham means the way to Godhead, or Sadhupadam means the way of the seekers or the rishis or the saints. Later, it came to be called as yoga because that's a union of two things, the mind and intellect. So, the present yoga that we practice is a small part of that great science called yoga. Well, but that's enough, and that's wonderful also. That type of yoga is a wonderful type of yoga. Now, let us see what yoga actually is. One basic thing you should understand is yoga is not an exercise like a workout that we do in a gym. It's not like that. It is not for the body only. It is really a wonderful technology for human development, for personality development. It doesn't concentrate on one aspect called physical. There are 5 dimensions for it. This is a symbol of Dravida Yoga. This finger represents the physical aspect, your body, and that's a very important thing. Then mind, the emotional side, then the intellect, and then the intuition, and then the spiritual. So, according to the yogis, unless you pass with distinction on all these 5 subjects, you won't have a perfect life. That is, if you want to go out in flying colors from this earth, you should have knowledge of these 5. That is, you should know, you should master the technique of keeping the body always strong, always dynamic, always young and beautiful. The master says, Satyam Shivam Sundaram. That means you have to keep your body concrete, strong, so that no sickness comes to you. Your body should be devoid of sickness. Satyam. Shivam, that means dynamic. You should always be active. If your body is not active, you are not having Shivam. If Shiva goes out, we become a Shavam or dead body. So it should be dynamic. Then the most important thing, you have to keep your youthhood always. The Guru tells the disciple, hey, why do you get old? Why? Because you see other people getting old, isn't it? That's a very important question in yoga. So you have to keep a body strong, young and beautiful, sundaram. Satyam, Shivam, sundaram. So that's what you get from yoga. Then this side, the emotional side, the heart. One should be able to control one's emotions. Your mind is a very bad master. That is, if your mind controls you, you are going to suffer in this life. But if you master the art of controlling your own mind, you are going to be a king. You are the master and the mind is a slave, not otherwise. Then the intellect. Our brain is a wonderful computer. That's a hardware. Then the software is the mind, made up of millions and millions and cells, trillions and trillions of chemical reactions per second. So this brain is a wonderful, unique machine. Unless you know how to use this brain, you are not going to have a real successful life. People use very little of their brains. The brain has wonderful capacities. That is connected with the mind, the software program. This software program has three aspects: the conscious, the subconscious and the unconscious. According to the ancient rishis, you have three bodies, not three parts of mind. One body is a physical body. I am talking to you from this body, right? Then, in a dream, I may run around. I may hear, I may see, I may feel. Which body do I use at that time? It is my Sukshma Sharira. This is a Sthula and that's a Sukshma. Then sometimes I enjoy a sleep, deep sleep, without dreams. Then with which body do I enjoy that? That is called Karana Sharira, or the casual body. So it's a very good piece of information for you. We have three bodies, not only one. Well, control of the three bodies is called yoga. That is control of the physical body and control of the mind, the three aspects of the mind, or three bodies. That is control of the conscious mind, control of the subconscious mind, control of the unconscious mind. From yogic language, I should say, I had to take control of the Sthula Sharira, the physical body, Sukshma Sharira, the mind, and Karana Sharira. The person who goes through this path of life with total control of his body, mind, intellect, and intuition and spiritual things, he is a perfect yogi. The yogis say, Saphalami Yatra. That means successful is this life. So, what is yoga? Yoga is a perfect technology of developing a personality into its ultimate. That is, you keep a body perfect in health, dynamic, young and beautiful. You keep your mind totally under control. You make programs for the mind and the mind does that for you, not otherwise. In most of the people, the mind makes its own mad programs and we obey that programs. In a yogi's mind, he is controlling the mind, not the mind controlling him. And the intellect should be sharp. You should be able to remember so many things. You should be able to create things. That is sharpness. And the intuition, the sixth sense. You should know people just by a look. That's called intuition. You should know what's going to happen in future. What is happening to you, you should know. So the knowledge of the past, present and the future comes from intuition. And of course the most important thing, the spiritual. In yoga philosophy, spiritual means realizing that you are a soul. And the next realization is that there is a supreme soul. And the final is that you one day will reach your soul, the Jivatma, will unite with the Paramatma. Unless the Jivatma unite with the Paramatma, the Atma, Jivatma will always be in a voyage. It is searching for the Paramatma. So that's why even if you have all the materialistic wonders around you, you may not feel that happy. You have money, you have a wonderful family, you have everything under your fingertips. Just order, you get it, but you are not happy. Why is it so? That's because there is always a gap in human being. The human being is in an eternal search. Some people recognize, or some people believe that they are only the bodies. They don't have any other knowledge. So they will always be satisfying the body. And some people have mental satisfaction, and some people intellectual satisfaction. But beyond all these things, there is something called a soul satisfaction. The Jivatma should feel that I am a Jivatma, not a body. I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not this intellect. I am something else. Your mind always tells you that there is always something else. You just listen to the breath. It always says, so hum, so hum, so hum. It tells you that I am that, I am that, I am that, not this. So this thing is always there in every human being. That's why, in spite of all the money one person has, all the power one person has, all the health, wealth, beauty, everything, the human being is not really satisfied and happy. So unless you get marks on this spiritual dimension or this spiritual subject, you're not going to have a complete successful life. So in a nutshell, what's yoga offering to you? A perfect package of 5. 1, it tells you how to keep your body strong, dynamic and beautiful all the time. You need not go into the old age. Old age will never come to you if you do yoga perfectly. It will always beautify your body. It will always help you to keep your health all the time. Then it teaches you how to control the mind, sharpen your intellect, develop deep intuition and full spiritual practice, spiritual depth. So if you ask me that question again, what is yoga? My answer is this. Yoga is a wonderful personality development system developed by the great ancient gurus, and it has a 5-fold nature. It helps you to grow in 5 dimensions, and when you die, you have a total feeling of happiness because you have passed with distinction in all these subjects. So that's the introductory lesson in yoga. Thank you.
Risa, risa.